Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Impact Wrestling review. Back with another audio form this time, talking about the show this week. It's been a real cold week to where I've been, to be honest. -20, -50, below, whatever you want to go with. And it's been a really hard time, which I'm going to have to start really working on these audio tracks, especially if I go really long. Because it was really hard to convert audio in a video into putting on YouTube. I know there's sites that can, they can just do it for you and everything, but with the thing I recorded of how high the I say it was almost 2 gigabytes if I'm correct on it. It took a lot to get on there because it was over an hour and 52-minute pretty much audio video thing pretty much, but you had to turn the audio into the video. And trust me, it took me a long time to get that Rumble review up after recording it on here and then putting it on YouTube and stuff. If you know anything easier to put audio on turn into a video and put on YouTube, please tell me. But it's got to be from a very, very large file, or if there's an easier way to do it, because it's not pretty easy. So I'm gonna have to start watching these audio things, or if I'm with someone talking about a show, but kind of keep it to a minimum maybe, or somehow get it up a little. But it takes a minute to do that. But continuing on with this week's show for Impact Wrestling, once again back in Mexico City, Mexico. But I just got to say this first, because wake up, it's the first of the month, so get up, and it's Black History Month, so get up. Just had to put that in there. But starting off the show this week, February 1st, pretty much kick it off with some very pretty much high action pretty much to start off the show. Pentagon and Phoenix, the Lucha Brothers, and Taurus, this was a 6-man tag, by the way, versus LAX and Daga. What did you expect from this? You expected what can I say? Expect a very large spot fest in there that I cannot keep up with the spots, but of course LAX and the Lucha Brothers always tear it down. Putting this into a 6-man tag, did it really make any difference putting Daga and Taurus in there? Taurus looks like a minotaur or something, a mantar. I'm not sure what he's supposed to be, but he did good out there. I'll give him that. Him and Daga, I've seen Daga before on Lucha Underground. Nothing else from that or anything, but I've seen him on there. Did they really add anything to the match? I'd say yeah, but you know who this entire feud was about with LAX and Pentagon Jr. But Conan wanted to put these guys in to give them some shine on TV, which they did really good. Okay, they really did, and this was a very insane match. Pretty much the Lucha Brothers did pick up the win though on Ortiz with the spike pile driver, winning the match then. So it was pretty much it was pretty much a crazy spot fest out there, but it was fun to look at because both teams are just that great in the ring, especially between LAX and the Lucha Brothers. But Pentagon Jr. didn't get the mic. He said Sierra Medio because he's from Mexico City, him and his brother Phoenix, but the crowd was hyped for them, and there were subtitles on this since he was speaking in Spanish. But Pentagon, he pretty much talked about Ortiz. You want to brag last week about kicking the Lucha Brothers' ass in Nashville, but let's see if you can try and do it again. He pretty much Pentagon challenged both pretty much LAX to another tag team title shot next week, and he said that the world will talk about our match at Homecoming. So why don't we recreate the magic and do it right here in Mexico? Pretty much LAX accepted the challenge. They held their titles up as both of them and the Lucha Brothers pretty much looked on then. So it's going to be a really big match between both these teams. And they'll do great. They'll probably do better than the one they did at Homecoming, really, because that was the best match on that show. But now since we're doing it again, we'll see what we can come on from here, because both teams are always enjoyable to watch, and they're probably one of the best things in the company, especially the stuff LAX has done all the time. But we then went to Melissa Santos as she was talking to Killer Kross and Moose. They asked about their thoughts on Johnny Impact and Cage. Kross said not really good. He was pretty much said that Cage is getting in his way of the Hurt Business, and he said that Cage is not invincible, and what's worse than that is a hypocrite. Moose pretty much told Kross to calm down and keep his cool, And, this is how you got to win wars, by keeping your composure, as he said. Because he said, we're going to kick their ass. We're going to watch these idiots implode. And then after here, we're going to pick up some tequilas. And then I'm going to take Melissa Santos on a date. Which, hey, good luck getting through that. Because she's fucking Cage. I believe everyone knows that. She's with him. So good luck with that. Which is kind of funny. But Kross pretty much... went on to say, pretty much told, Moose that we're going to get them, but he says after we make Johnny and Cage pay the toll. Moose pretty much held up like a call me sign to Melissa as he left out then. So, pretty much a good promo from them. They then went to LAX then. Of course, they were sitting in the back as Conan talked about Daga and Tara did a good job tonight. But, we got to be focused next week for this match against the Lucha Brothers. Conan said, it's 100 and everything. We're going to be behind this. We got to be professional and not personal. Santana said they're still tight like a family at the homecoming, and it'll be the same thing again. Ortiz pretty much says, I did what I did last week or two. I ran my mouth. I took an L tonight, but the story going to be different next week. So they pretty much said hasta la muerte y después after that, and we'll see that match go down next week. What do we go? Let's get the GWN thing. Even though it was a match I did like from Slammiversary with LAX over a year ago. What was that Fatal 4-Way Tag Team thing? But that was when that Global Force thing took over. That was the best match on that card, though. But pretty much also Impact. They did hype 2 shows coming in the next 2 weeks. It's going to be Uncaged. I wish you're hyping that up for. Give me 1 second here. Sorry for the silence right there for a second. Maybe we can edit that out if we can. A couple seconds here or there. Nothing to worry about. But moving on from that, like I said, they have 2 shows hyped up next week. Not next week, but like I said, next 2 weeks. It is the Uncaged theme-like show they're doing with Cage versus Johnny Impact for the World Heavyweight Championship, and they will return to pay-per-view on April 28th, called Rebellion. They will be going back to the Rebel Entertainment Complex in Toronto, which they had last year for Slammiversary, if you remember that pay-per-view back in June. So I thought they were actually going to call Redemption again around April time, because I remember they had that last year, and it was kind of one of the last times they really did have a pay-per-view in the Impact Zone after that. And after they did TV tapings, they moved on to a different city then, because I remember, it was about last year in April time. I think it was in June, if I'm not June, but I remember that main event being Pentagon, Austin Aries, and Phoenix for the world title at the time. But the show, Rebellion, it should be really good. And we'll see what happens when it comes down April 28th. But they will be back on pay-per-view again, so that's a good thing. They then went to a tag team match, Su Yung and Dark Alley versus Kiera Hogan and Jordynne Grace, which was actually a really good tag team match, I will say. This wasn't bad. I know people kind of crap on the whole Undead Realm thing, but it was a really good match. Jordynne Grace, who is damn near a killer at the time, picking up just probably 2 people at a time, both Su Yung and Alley at the same time. It's pretty cool. The match was pretty much going until it was about to be a hot tag then. Pretty much the lights went out, Su Yung disappeared, and Rosemary was there on the apron as Allie looked like she had saw a ghost. Jordynne Grace got the tag to Kiera Hogan, who hit her with a swinging fisherman backbreaker for the win. Pretty much Rosemary disappeared after that. Kiera Hogan and Jordynne Grace pretty much looked confused on what the hell was going on then, as they don't know where Rosemary even teleported to after that. So it was still continuing the story. I guess Rosemary's going to still find a way to get Allie out of the Undead Realm. Jordynne Grace and Kiera Hogan, I don't know how they're still even involved in this thing and that, because we saw this tag team match back at Homecoming anyways. I thought they were kind of moving them away after this, but I guess they still have something, something to go on off of this. But I don't know how long we're going to keep continuing this whole thing going on. But moving on from this whole Undead Realm thing, which hopefully there's a match soon. But I'm sure going to be a match with Rosemary and Su Yung, but I could see that coming right now. They didn't went to one of Scarlett Bordeaux's, I guess, promo segments, as she is still hyping for her match in the next week or two. As Bobo there, her manservant, was pretty much hanging out by the pool, and Scarlett then came in, pretty much yelling at Bobo, saying that we need to train. And pretty much has Bobo to spar. She started punching, shadow boxing with Bobo, punching at his hands. But Scarlett then pretty much roundhouse. She started giving Bobo roundhouse kicks, and then pretty much roundhoused him to the leg as he fell in the pool. And pretty much said that Bobo got her all wet then after that. Pretty interesting segment. They're still hyping up her match the next 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to this. At least they're hyping it somewhere this time. Not like they did with the talent search, where it went on for almost multiple weeks and months, that there was almost no end game to this, but at least it's going somewhere. Eddie Edwards and Eli Drake went against the Rascals. Pretty good tag team match, I will say that. Pretty much, it was a really good tag team match, I will say, and pretty much Eli Drake and Eddie Edwards did get the win though, because Eddie Edwards had his kendo stick, and the referee had stopped Eddie Edwards from trying to use it. Eli Drake took advantage and hit Desmond Xavier with the kendo stick then. Pretty much, he hit the kendo stick and then hit the gravy train after that to win the match. I did like this match. I did like when the Rascals did, I think Drake was going to hit him with a double suplex, and he did hit the suplex, but the Rascals flipped it all the way around, almost like a Canadian destroyer in a way, pretty much landed Drake on his head. But this was a good tag match though. Drake pretty much using a heel tactic to take out the Rascals. Eddie Edwards was pretty much pissed after that, because I guess this is just Drake trying to say, we want the real Eddie Edwards back, not this hardcore Eddie Edwards of him being crazy and stuff, when he has the kendo stick and everything. He wants the real Eddie Edwards back in the ring. But we'll see what goes on from there. Next thing you know, they showed a video from Tessa Blanchard that was on Twitter saying she will be back on February the 15th, that she will get her championship back. She would have had it, but Gail Kim screwed her at Homecoming and told Ty she will get her championship back. They pretty much told Ty after that, says, you know what, we'll do it in a street fight then. Okay, so see you at Uncaged. Uncaged, Chica, as she told Taya telling Tessa Blanchard, see in the next few weeks. Sami Callihan, they showed Sami Callihan and Rich Swann video package as they were talking to Swann, as they actually showed some photos of when Rich was 18. They're like some younger photos of them. And Rich said, Sammy's known me since I was 18 years old. He has had no mother and father. And, Sammy looked after him a lot when he was in the wrestling business, started coming in. And that Sammy opened his home to Rich Swann and everything. Almost even cost him his marriage. And he saw the real Sammy then for over a year. But he said that Sammy's a problem who would take advantage of anybody and, their best purposes and stuff, and talked about wanting Swann to join Ohio versus everything. Rich pretty much said, Sammy will always have a spot, in his heart, but Sammy's request is not family, as Rich Swann went on to say. This whole story, at least there's a little bit more to it, showing the photos of everything. At least you know some of the history they've had throughout the years, ever since they've been in wrestling. I still don't get why he's still trying to get him into Ohio, but I'm understanding a little bit more, because I said this guy's from Baltimore and he's from Ohio. Where does any of this make sense? Okay, but at least they're trying something to make it make sense out there. I will say that. Fallah Bahh went against Psycho Clown, because the next 2 weeks they're doing this Impact versus AAA thing. The only time I don't even really know who Psycho Clown is. I've probably seen him on the show 1 or 2 times, because they had what is his name? Katarina or Kaylee Birch or Winter, whatever you want to call her. Was that Murder Clown she brought in? I've seen the Psycho Clown guy before because I've seen him on AAA. I don't know a lot about him, no. I think it was in some Fatal 4-Way match, I believe, with Pentagon at AAA Mania, if I'm not mistaken, or it was some match against Dr. Wagner Jr. But listen, Psycho Clown did beat Fallah Bahh, which the crowd was on Fallah Bahh's side. To what I've heard, they said that Psycho Clown's supposed to be like this top face, but the crowd's booing him. Some say it's almost like Roman Reigns in a way, because the reason why he's a face because they said Conan and Pentagon and Phoenix left AAA. So I don't know the whole story behind that, but I just know Bob was more over than Psycho Clown here. But they said Psycho Clown's a face to right here, and he's not a heel. But I'm not really sure, because even with the Psycho Clown even hyping up his team AAA, which had Puma King, Aerostar, which I actually know him from Lucha Underground, and El Hijo del Vikingo, as they talk about this our home turf and everything, and they're going to beat the Impact team in the next few weeks. Cage pretty much went to talk to Johnny Impact about their match tonight. It was a tag team match for both of them, and he wanted to make sure that Johnny was healthy for his match with Cage. But Johnny said, "Oh yeah, I'm sure you're happy getting your title shot. Even they did a show after you too." But Cage said, "I'm gonna take your head off in 2 weeks, okay?" But Johnny pretty much told Cage, "Don't screw me over tonight." But Cage said, "That's your department, champ," and pretty much walked off after that, preparing for his match tonight. Then next thing you know, main event time. Moose and Killer Kross went against Johnny Impact and Brian Cage. It was a pretty good tag team match to end, especially what kind of went on near the end after that, because was it Moose pretty much. I'm trying to not Moose, but I think it was Cage. Yeah, Cage had Moose up like he was going for an F5. I remember Impact hitting the 619 on Moose, which did not look like a very good 619, by the way. 619, by the way. But after he did that, he tried to hit a flying chuck kick on Moose, but it hit Cage. Cage pretty much took Kross on the ground there, and he pretty much looked at Impact as he was about to do something, but Moose pretty much hit him with a spear, and pretty much Cage just let him take the win after that. As Cage looked on, he left in, pretty much leaving Johnny Impact in the ring after Moose beat him then. So it was one thing they did point out, that all three of these people in the ring now have a pinfall over Johnny Impact right now. But it was a good tag team match, I will say that. But it was mostly a story between pretty much all four of these guys, but with Cage and Johnny Impact, as pretty much Johnny accidentally hit him, but Cage pretty much that's what turned the favor for losing the match and stuff, as he just let Moose take the pin. Now they said that all three of these guys have a win over Johnny Impact. Could just leave it to a triple threat match or a fatal 4-way match, if I'm mistaken, in the future now, because if Cage is getting his shot in the next couple weeks now, to say he doesn't win, huh? What if they keep building this up and put Cage, Moose, Killer Kross, and Johnny Impact in a fatal 4-way for the World Heavyweight Championship? Three of these people have beaten him, have they? So why don't you just kind of double up on it and raise up the stakes by making it a fatal 4-way? We can see what goes from there, but I don't know. You just have to watch out and see. But with them saying all three of them have beaten him, I could see that happening. But Cage is still next in line for a title shot against Johnny Impact, so we will see what happens in the next 2 weeks from that. But moving on, pretty much in the end of the show, that was pretty much the main event right there, but it wasn't a bad show or anything. It was enjoyable. I did love the 6-man tag at the end between LAX and Daga versus the Lucha Brothers and Mantar. I did like the main event between Moose and Killer Kross versus Johnny Impact and Cage, which is just set up more story until their match next week. 2 weeks at Uncaged going on, so watch out for that. Those like pretty much the best things I can really name from the show. It wasn't a particularly bad show. It actually had some solid wrestling on there, but I'm just saying one of my favorites were of the night of this show. But it wasn't really that bad if you even get a chance to check out Impact Wrestling or whatever, Switch, Pursuit, or whatever channel this thing is on. So I'm not really sure, but it wasn't a bad episode, I will say that. One thing I do want to point out there right now, I make a lot of videos, everything here and there, but one person I should say you should check out is a Steven Andrews or put in T Cox after his name and kind of check out, a lot of his music. The guy's done wrestling reviews on there before too. He does have a best of 2018 review I would check out right now. I'll put a link in the description, and actually put a link to a new music video he put out. Like, guy's working on his YouTube thing. He's got SoundCloud and puts out a lot of music and still working on albums and stuff. But I just want to put out there and give my opinion. What do you guys think when I put in a link? Give it a chance. Take a lesson. Take whatever you want. The guy can review wrestling too. He does that also, all right? But check out the guy's music. It's some good shit, all right? Steven Andrews, and you put T Cox after, because a lot of Steven Andrews when you pop it, when I even typed it in on YouTube. But check out the music, everything. The guy's got a good music video. It's called Kross, and I'd say it'd be very enjoyable if you check it out. But I'll pretty much leave a link in the description going into that also. But that is my Impact Wrestling review today. I am out of here. I'll see you guys later. Peace. Not a bad show. So comment, subscribe.